After the college entrance exam scores were released, a vlogger who does wish-granting interviews sat down with the childhood sweetheart of the state's top scorer. What's the one wish you want to see come true? Amy smirked at the camera. I hope a certain big shot keeps his word and doesn't apply to the same college as me. Let's just never see each other again. We had a running bet. This time, I'd said whoever got the higher score would have to grant the other one a wish. In the past, whenever I lost, I'd always weasel my way out of it. Amy was certain I'd do the same thing this time, but she didn't know. I'd already gotten my early acceptance letter from RISD. I just forgot to tell her. This time, I would give her exactly what she wished for. We'd go our separate ways, for good. The day after the video aired, it was trending everywhere online. My best friend, Miles, sent it to me. I broke up with Amy immediately, over text. She didn't accept it, just sent me an address. Don't get it. Say it to my face if you have the guts. I tried to reply, but she'd already blocked me. She wouldn't pick up my calls either. I figured there was no need to drag our families into this mess. It was the last time I'd have to see her, anyway. Might as well go. I could also bring up the bet and call off the engagement while I was there. So I went. I was just a few steps down the hall when I heard laughter from inside the private room. A few people were egging someone on. Amy, you've picked truth. 10 times in a row. You have to do a dare this time. Stare into a guy's eyes for 10 seconds. Sabet. No getting out of it with a shot this time. Tim's the only guy in here, so you don't have a choice. Get it over with. Amy's voice was lazy. Not even if I down 5 shots. No. And Tim, don't be shy. It's just staring, not kissing. Hurry. I'm waiting for my turn to stare down the class hottie. The noise inside was giving me a headache. I was about to leave, but a waiter pushed the door open before I could. The next second, my eyes locked with Amy's icy gaze. Everyone went silent. Even the karaoke machine's background music stopped. When Amy finally spoke, her voice was crystal clear. You actually came? So obedient this time? You don't really want to break up, do you? She was leaning back against the sofa, a beer in her left hand, looking up at me. The flashing lights softened the sharp lines of her face. But all I could see in my head was the screenshot Miles had sent me from someone's social feed. It was from Tim's losing dare. In the photo, he had his arm slung around her shoulder, the pose sickeningly intimate. The caption read, "Such bad luck today. Lost at truth or dare again and again. Good thing I have a big sis to take the drinks for me. Thanks." I pushed down the wave of nausea and hurt. I walked closer and asked her, "You got a 680? I got a 662. I lost again. What you said in that video, that was your condition for winning the bet, right?" The overhead light caught the curve of her cheek. She smiled, a hint of annoyance in her voice. "My condition? Wasn't that your condition, Your Highness?" The others could feel her anger. No one dared to breathe. Amy, as if she'd finally snapped, started bringing up old fights. "I hate you. I can't stand you. Let's never see each other again. Weren't you the one who said all that first? This time I just broadcasted your thoughts for everyone else to hear. What did I do wrong? What right do you have to be angry first?" Me angry? I didn't think so. Sure. Seeing her sitting with Tim stung for a few seconds. But my tone of voice and expression were hardly angry, were they? Seeing me stand there, blank and silent, she slammed her beer glass on the table with a loud bang. She was a little drunk. "I'm so sick of this. You bring up breaking up every single time you're upset. How many times has it been this month? Didn't we just agree last month that no matter how much we fought, we wouldn't throw those 2 words around? Why do you always forget? Besides breaking up, what other horrible things are you going to lecture me about this time?" I'm all ears. Her eyes were red, making it look like I was the one bullying her. Before, seeing that hurt look on her face would have made me feel guilty for days. I would have wondered if I'd been too impulsive, if I'd said something that really hurt her. But this time, I didn't care. After all, some people have sweet words, but their actions cut much deeper. Since you're so sick of it, let's break up. And while we're at it, tell your family the engagement is off, too. According to your request, I won't be applying to the same college as you. You won't have to see me again. I finished calmly. Amy stared at me, her composure gone. What do you mean? I sneered. Are the words "we're breaking up" that hard to understand? You said you didn't get it over text. You can't understand it when I say it to your face? Amy, I guess hanging around certain people has made you stupid, too. A flash of icy fury crossed her eyes. She asked again, "You're serious?" I nodded. "I'll tell my dad about the engagement, too." She shot back, "Fine. We're done. If I ever come crawling back to you, I'm a dog." The others, sensing the mood had soured, tried to smooth things over. "All right, Amy, stop taking it too far. You're gonna cry your eyes out if your boyfriend actually leaves. Weren't you the one just cussing up a storm, saying you'd get on your knees and beg for forgiveness if he didn't add you back as a friend? It's just a little spat. You can work it out in private. Why say things like that in front of everyone? I bet you're kicking yourself now." Huh? She's just pretending to be mad, but she's really showing off, rubbing it in our faces that us single losers don't have a handsome, spoiled prince of a boyfriend to dote on us. Tim, sitting next to Amy, chimed in. "Leo, don't be like this. Amy came here to drink herself sick over you. Her hand just healed. She can't be drinking like this." I snorted. Her hand injury? The injury she got playing hero for you against some thugs? What's that got to do with me? Why should I feel sorry for her? I told her I had already called the police and they would handle it, but she still had to rush in and get herself cut. Couldn't stop her. Who's to blame? And as if to spite me, Amy didn't push away Tim's hand as he gripped her wrist. In the past, I would have separated them immediately, yelling at him for having no shame and touching someone else's girlfriend. But this time I was tired. Arguing and fighting wouldn't change a thing. The two of them would stay tangled up. He'd keep clinging to her like a ghost, and she'd never learn to firmly refuse him. I didn't want to waste my energy anymore. I turned to leave. Just then, the door opened. Tim's brother, Evan, came in with a fruit platter, setting it down and looking at Amy obsequiously. "Miss Amy, about my brother's college applications, I'll leave it in your hands." Then he pretended to have just noticed me, feigning surprise. "Oh, Leo's here, too?" Seeing his sly, fox-like face, identical to Tim's, made my blood boil. What an act. He was the one who pointed me to this room at the front desk. It doesn't take a genius to figure out he wanted me to see his brother and Amy getting cozy. Probably everyone except Amy knew how badly Evan wanted Tim to climb into her bed and become the family's ticket to wealth. I didn't want to deal with trash like him. I ignored him and turned to pull the door open. The next second, Tim ran over and grabbed me. "Leo, my brother was out of line this time. I'll handle my own college applications. I won't bother Amy anymore. Please don't be mad at her because of me. Okay? She's drunk. I'm sure she didn't mean what she said." Listening to his stream of two-faced bullshit, I saw red. I had promised myself that starting today, I wouldn't get angry over Amy and the two Tim brothers anymore. It wasn't worth it. But the words slipped out before I could stop them. "Oh, so now you know what she means and what she doesn't. And you're aware that you're the reason we fight all the time? Then why don't you stay away? You're always trailing after Amy like a lost puppy. Don't tell me now that it isn't on purpose. I have to admire the nerve of you two brothers. All it takes is a few tears and a sob story about your tragic past. And you've got the great Miss Amy wrapped around your little finger." Tim's face flushed, his voice tinged with hurt. "I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to cause you two any trouble. That's enough, Leo." Amy suddenly exploded, her shout cutting me off. "Do you have to be such a bully?" The moment she uttered those words of reprimand, I suddenly felt it. Our decade plus of friendship, it was all meaningless. I said, "We can break up, all right? I won't shamelessly cling to you anymore. You don't have to pick on him. If you have a problem, take it out on me." She hurled her glass into a far corner like an enraged lioness. I didn't hesitate. I took off my ring and threw it at her feet. "I hope you keep your word, Miss Amy." With that, I left. I hadn't gone more than a few steps when I realized a cufflink was missing. It was a birthday gift from my grandmother before she passed away, one of the few things I truly cherished. I must have pulled away from someone too hard back there, and it had fallen off in the room. After thinking it over, I swallowed my disgust and turned back to find it. I stopped as I reached the door. I could hear them talking inside again. Man, that prince has a temper. Amy, I'm telling you, Tim is so much more obedient than him. You should choose a good boy like him for a boyfriend. What do you even see in a guy like Leo? Don't say that. Abby, I have my flaws too. I'm too soft. Not like Leo, he has the guts to say whatever he thinks. Amy let out a self-deprecating laugh and muttered, yeah, he's got a temper, and he's got a mean streak. What do I even see in him? If he were even a third as gentle as Tim, I'd thank my lucky stars. But why won't he change for me? When clearly, a male voice tried to console her. Amy, are you sure you're not going to go after him and patch things up? Amy sighed. Forget it. I'm always the one begging for peace. It's pointless. I'll just give him the cold shoulder for a while. Maybe then he'll realize how good he had it and how much I put up with. The second she finished, the blood in my veins turned to ice. My chest ached. It hurt so much. It felt like a giant hand was crushing my heart, shattering it into a million pieces. So all this time, Amy thought I wasn't gentle enough, that I was unwilling to change. But I am who I am. Why should I become some fake, docile version of myself for someone who doesn't matter? Her casual words had fractured 18 years of our history. She had no idea. This time, when I said we were breaking up, I meant it. No matter how much she regretted it, no matter how much she begged, I would never forgive her. My flight to Providence was already booked. In the future, we would never meet again. Amy never came after me, not even as I walked out of the club. She was too busy comforting her dear brother Tim. Amy, I never meant to ruin things between you and Leo. I'm just a little clueless, you know? After my parents died, I've had no sense of security, so that's why I bother you every day, asking you about this and that. I never thought it would cause you so much trouble. I'm sorry. Enough. You did nothing wrong. You don't have to apologize. This was far from the first time she had chosen someone else over me. In the end, I didn't go back for the cufflink. I figured what's lost is lost. Grandma probably wouldn't blame me. She doted on me the most and couldn't bear to see me sad. If she were still alive, she wouldn't want me to go back to that miserable, humiliating place. In the car on the way home, I blocked Amy on everything. One by one, I deleted every photo I had of her. Our picture playing beach volleyball on the high school trip, the fireworks we watched together on New Year's, the big party she threw for my birthday, the way she'd tell bad jokes to cheer me up. Her face lit up with a carefree smile. Over 10,000 photos. From age 5 to 20. Amy was there for all of it. My mom died in childbirth. I've only ever seen her in pictures. My dad was busy with work and rarely around. My grandparents weren't in good health, so I tried not to bother them. When I was 8, my dad was on a business trip abroad and was killed in the crossfire of a gang shootout. When my grandmother heard the news, she fell gravely ill overnight and ended up in the ICU. A lot of people said I was the jinx born to bring death to the family. No one at school wanted to play with me. They threw rocks at me and told me to stay away. Back then, Amy was like a goddess who fell from the sky. She chased away all the bullies for me. For the Leo who grew up surrounded by rumors, the young Amy was undoubtedly a ray of light. She was like my guardian angel, always by my side when I needed her most. She'd bring me the best snacks and the coolest toys first. When we were little, a kid called me a motherless child, and Amy was the one who beat him up. Don't be scared, Leo. Your big sis is here. I'll protect you. But now that was all in the past. The world would keep spinning without Amy, and Leo's world wouldn't collapse. I packed my bags that night and flew to a small town in Vermont for a vacation. It was a niche tourist spot, one that was never on Amy's travel itinerary. Back in junior year, Amy had promised me a unique and unforgettable graduation trip. The route she planned started in Wyoming, went to the California coast, and then on to the Greek Isles and Napa Valley. It was a 2-month journey, from domestic to overseas. She planned most of it herself, her eyes shining with anticipation. She said, I want the Aegean Sea to witness my undying love for you, and I want to kiss my lover in the flower fields of Napa. What beautiful vows. I had smiled so freely then, leaning down to give her a long, passionate kiss. Now all of it was just an empty promise, and I no longer looked forward to anything that had to do with her. The plane landed at 12:30 a.m. The owner of the B&B was a man in his 40s. He was very friendly, picked me up from the airport himself, and helped with my luggage. Worried I might be hungry, he even brought me a sweet soup for a late-night snack. By a strange coincidence, I ran into my classmate Miles at the B&B. It turned out the owner was his uncle, and he was working here over the summer to earn money for college tuition. It was after 2 a.m. by the time I finally got myself settled. For those few short hours, I miraculously didn't think about Amy once. We used to be inseparable, never going more than an hour without seeing or speaking to each other. But in this new place, the old people and old memories were pushed to the back of my mind. The travel had been exhausting, and I hadn't gotten much rest. The moment my head hit the pillow, I was out. At 4 in the morning, I was woken up by a call from an unknown number. Amy's voice, thick with anger and alcohol, came through the receiver. "Leo, why did you block my number and my texts? How could you be so cruel? Is it just because I didn't come running to you? But why is it always me who has to come begging you, Your Highness? I get tired, too. Leo, I want you to comfort me for once." She started to sob quietly. My voice was flat. "Are you insane, calling people in the middle of the night?" She was still asking, "Why won't you comfort me anymore?" I was about to lay into her when, a second later, I heard a more familiar male voice. "Amy, stop drinking. Be good, drink this. It'll help. We'll just sleep it off." "Yeah, Miss Amy, my brother made this soup himself. It's really good. Drink up and then you can have sweet dreams. We're the bigger people. We won't stoop to the level of some spoiled brat with a temper, right?" I thought I wouldn't care, but hearing them so close and intimate, I couldn't help but feel a pang of bitterness. I said, "You guys are insane." After that, I hung up, blocked the number, and set my phone to do not disturb. When I woke up the next day, my phone showed hundreds of missed calls from unknown numbers. I didn't have to guess who it was from. Paid it no mind. Stayed in that small Vermont town for half a month. During that time, Amy didn't try to find me again. Instead, my friend Miles forwarded me a few of her posts from her social feed. A picture of Amy and Tim riding a horse together across the plains of Wyoming. A 9-photo grid of them making V signs in front of a landmark in the Greek Isles. A shot of Tim in a purple shirt amidst the lavender fields of Napa Valley. A dozen posts, all with the same caption. "He was supposed to be here with me." It was a brilliant double entendre. People who knew us were asking in the comments, "Who's this? Where's your beloved prince?" People who didn't know us said they were a perfect match and wished them the best. After scrolling through all of it, I felt strangely calm. It was like watching a story about strangers. It didn't affect me much. Miles, on the other hand, video called me, furious on my behalf. I don't follow that asshole, so I don't know what he posted. I laughed. "Good thing you didn't send it. I would have puked up the seafood noodles I just ate." Miles said, "Seriously, is your girl Amy out of her mind? Wasn't that the trip you guys planned together? How did she let those two shameless brothers from the Tim family tag along and reap the benefits? I remember you were the one who made all the food recommendations. Those two are real pieces of work, and Miss Amy must be blind. Ditching a prince like you to run around with those two scrawny weasels." I just laughed. "She can take whoever she wants. It has nothing to do with me anymore." He asked, "A decade plus of history, man. You can really just let her go?" I said, "What's there to miss? It's not like she's the only girl in the world." Miles roared with laughter. "That's my boy. So clear-headed. You just wait. As soon as I'm free, I'm gonna find you 80 models to help you get over this." He hesitated for a second, then added, "Leo, ever since those two Tim brothers showed up and started clinging to Amy, I felt like she didn't deserve you. I just never said anything because I was afraid of upsetting you. If I wasn't stuck at this training camp, I'd fly over there and slap them a few times. A couple for Tim and Evan, and about 100,000 for Amy. Miles got into his dream music program at USC, and the moment he finished his exams, his mom shipped him off to Europe for an intensive vocal workshop. He hadn't had time to come back. I smiled. Yeah, I know you're the best. All right, it's getting late, you should get some rest. Don't mess up your classes tomorrow. Go get future pop star. I hung up. Miles came upstairs and asked if I wanted to go to a bar for a drink. He brought along some plum wine his uncle had made himself. The wine was sweet and fragrant, and it lifted my spirits, making me feel relaxed. The bar was filled with neon lights and had a great atmosphere. I got a little greedy and had an extra glass of plum wine, which left me slightly buzzed. Miles took the opportunity to snap a few pictures of me with the lounge singer. In return, I took a few for him and even helped him get her number. But I never expected him to post my pictures on his social feed. Caught a handsome guy, but he seems a little down. Hey, internet, any ideas on how to cheer up a hottie? The next day, while I was out with my art supplies to do some sketching, the calls from unknown numbers started again. I didn't answer, but the caller was persistent. They kept coming one after another, so I finally just turned my phone off to focus on my painting. To my surprise, I ran into an old acquaintance that afternoon, Professor Shaw. Professor Shaw was a senior professor in the Chinese painting department at RISD. Last year, I'd attended an art symposium by chance and was lucky enough to be invited on stage for an interactive session. On stage, I spontaneously created a landscape painting in a traditional style. I learned calligraphy and painting from my grandmother. She taught me how to hold a brush and recognize ink stones and pigments from a young age. So, my skills weren't bad, but in my heart I was set on going to Harvard with Amy. I focused all my energy on my academic classes and forgot that I could pursue art school as an option. After seeing my painting, Professor Shaw was full of praise. He encouraged me to apply to RISD's art program, saying that with my talent, I was sure to get in. He said that one day, I would carve out my own unique style in the world of Chinese painting. We chatted for a bit afterward. He seemed to like me and even exchanged contact information. He personally invited me to display the piece I had painted that day in his upcoming exhibition. That was the first official exhibition of my life. I was ecstatic and invited Amy to come with me, wanting to surprise her, so I didn't tell her beforehand that we were going to see my painting. But she stood me up. The first day of the exhibition was Tim's 17th birthday. Amy knew I didn't like getting mixed up with them, so she lied to me and went to his birthday party. If my friend hadn't told me he saw them at the club, I probably would have been kept in the dark forever. That day, I waited for her at the entrance of the art museum for 3 hours. Her phone was off. I couldn't reach her. I waited until the exhibition closed, but I never saw her. At 10 o'clock that night, she rushed to my house to explain. I'm so sorry, Leo. I had to take my mom to the hospital this morning, and when I got home, I took a nap and had my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I didn't get your calls. I looked at her coldly, not saying a word. I had spent hours in the cold wind that day and had caught a cold. I felt awful and my throat was sore. I really didn't have the energy to listen to her lies. Amy said it wasn't on purpose. I've already booked tickets for Sunday's exhibition. I'll definitely go with you tomorrow. I replied flatly, don't bother. From the moment she lied to me, she was dead to me. From then on, I would never share anything about my life with her again. The fact that I was applying to RISD, that I had been accepted early, and that I was going to leave her for good, I wouldn't tell her any of it. Professor Shaw, I can't believe I'm seeing you here, I said, walking up to greet him. Professor Shaw was surprised, too. He wasn't carrying any art supplies, so he must have been here just for a vacation. Leo, my boy, you're here too. Are you on a trip with your girlfriend? At the exhibition, Professor Shaw had noticed me constantly looking towards the door and had asked what was going on, so I had told him a bit about the situation. I smiled. No, we actually broke up. I'm here to gather inspiration. The International Calligraphy and Painting Competition is next year, right? I thought I'd give it a shot. Excellent, excellent. With your skills, a top 3 finish is definitely within reach. I was going to remind you to register, but it seems you're already on top of it. But just so you know, my classes aren't going to be a walk in the park. You'd better prepare yourself. Professor Shaw was cheerful and talkative. He mentioned he was traveling with his wife. A few minutes later, I saw his wife coming to meet him, carrying a thermos and a watermelon. Seeing the sweat on Professor Shaw's forehead, she immediately pulled a handkerchief from her pocket and gently wiped his brow. Didn't I tell you to wait for me in the pavilion? Why did you wander off? She chided. Professor Shaw replied, I was afraid you'd drop my watermelon. My legs are fine. I won't fall. Here, eat up. It's fresh from the field. They warmly offered me a slice. The watermelon was juicy and incredibly sweet. As sweet as their decades-long marriage. A long time ago, I thought Amy and I would be like them, supporting each other until we were old and gray. But alas, the most beautiful things in the world are often the most fragile. The sun was halfway down the mountain by the time I said goodbye to them and headed back to the B&B. I couldn't believe my eyes. Amy, whom I hadn't seen in 2 weeks, was sitting in the lobby. She was toying with the 18th birthday present I gave her, a hand-carved jade rabbit. I had ordered the raw jade half a year in advance and spent 3 months carving it myself. She turned, saw me, and jumped up to run over. I pretended not to see her and walked straight toward the elevator. The next second, a hand grabbed my wrist. Leo, do you have any idea how long I've been looking for you? Looking? Has she been looking? What a liar. If she had wanted to find me, she would have been here on the first day. Why wait 2 weeks? The only reason is she didn't want to. Weren't you on a graduation trip with your new boy toy? What are you looking for me for? I pulled my wrist free. What new boy toy? What are you talking about? Besides, it's been so long. Are you still mad at me? Is it that serious? I scoffed. Has Miss Amy forgotten that we broke up? Her bravado vanished. I'm sorry. I drank too much that day and said a lot of things I didn't mean. Please don't take it to heart. Okay? Did you see the pictures of me and Tim? I didn't want to take them. I never wanted to go on a trip alone with him. My grandfather forced me to bring him along. Does that have anything to do with me? Why are you telling me this? I don't want to hear it. Move. Get out of my way. She blocked the elevator, refusing to let me pass. Just then, the elevator doors opened, and standing inside was Tim, alone. He was pushing 2 suitcases, one large and one small, as he walked out of the elevator. Tim wasn't surprised to see me. A smug smile played on his lips. Leo, you're back. I couldn't believe it when Amy said your GPS location was here. They must have found me through the location on Miles's new social media post. Too bad Amy and I wasted a whole day checking almost every 5-star hotel in the city without finding you. This place is pretty remote, and the decor is just okay. I didn't think you'd stay somewhere like this. This B&B was close to the beach and a good spot for sketching. The downside was that the rooms were a bit small and the amenities were older, but it was clean and cozy. It was nowhere near as bad as he made it sound. The place he and his brother used to live in was far worse. Now that Amy's family was spoiling them, they looked down on everything. I tilted my head, looking closely at what he was holding, and realized it was my suitcase. He had even scratched it. My brow furrowed in anger. Following me, breaking into my room and taking my things. Are you guys stalkers or thieves? Oh right. She's the stalker, and you're her little lapdog. I reached for my things, but Amy blocked me. Leo, stop making a scene. Come home with me. My harsh words made Tim's face turn red, and he started whining defensively, attracting the attention of other guests. We did not. The guy at the front desk gave us the keycard. I didn't break in. I gave Amy a shove. This is trespassing, you understand? I can call the police. She didn't get angry. Go on, keep pushing. When you're done, you're coming home with me. Can you stop this nonsense? Do you have any idea how dangerous it is for you to run off this far by yourself, or how worried I've been? All right, stop throwing a fit and yelling at people. I'm the one who asked him to go in and help pack. I was speechless. Why do you still think I'm just throwing a tantrum? Breaking up, calling off the engagement, never seeing you again. Every single thing I've said, I've meant. You're the only one still living in the past. I fought back the tearing pain in my chest, unslung my art case from my back, and hurled it at Tim. "Give me back my suitcase," I roared. A red mark quickly formed on Tim's forehead. He cried out and sat on the floor, clutching his head. Just then, the receptionist heard the commotion and hurried over. "Mr. Evans, I'm so sorry. This young lady said she was your girlfriend and even showed me photos of you too and your ID, so that's why I gave her the key. I didn't argue with them anymore. I just dialed 9 by the time the police arrived." Amy was kneeling on the sofa next to me, holding a glass of warm water and some stomach medicine. "Your stomach problems are acting up again. I know you're in a bad mood and throwing a fit, but there's no need to drag the police into this, right? Be good. Take your medicine or your stomach will start to hurt again." I ignored her. When Tim saw the police, he immediately ran up, grabbed an officer's hand, and started complaining that I had slandered his reputation. The officer paid him no mind and just put him in the patrol car. You can tell it to the station. It was just a small conflict that could have been resolved with some mediation and a written statement. Until the male officer found a very expensive watch in Tim's pocket. It had been on my dresser. Seeing the guilty look on Tim's face, the officer asked him what was going on. He stammered, unable to answer. I said, "My face a mask. I don't know him." He entered my room without my permission and took my property. "That's theft." Tim panicked and tried to explain, but he couldn't come up with a reasonable excuse for why he had my watch. I insisted that he return it, pay for damages, and be detained for 2 weeks. Amy pleaded with me. "Leo, do you have to be like this? We were classmates, after all. Maybe he just accidentally put it in his pocket while he was packing your stuff. It's not like he meant to steal it." I shook her hand off. "He knows whether he stole it or not. He made a mistake and he should be punished. Last time he went into my room and took my keychain, and you told me not to make a big deal about it, so I let it go. This time I won't back down. Besides, I don't have time to watch you two monkeys perform." With that, I called a cab and left. Amy was too busy trying to figure out how to get Tim out of trouble to come after me. That evening, Miles and his uncle returned from a fishing trip. When they heard what happened, they apologized to me. I didn't make it hard for them or ask the B&B to compensate me for my losses. I just told them to train their staff better so that customer privacy wouldn't be breached again in the future. As I was packing my bags to leave that night, I got a call from my grandfather. He was urging me to come home, his voice laced with anxiety. I thought something had happened to his health and immediately bought a ticket for the next flight back. I had thought the police station would be the last time I ever saw Amy, but I was wrong. Not only had Amy not canceled the engagement, but she had somehow convinced her parents to schedule the engagement ceremony for the following week. It would be held jointly with her college acceptance party. I was so angry I unblocked her number just to chew her out. "Amy, are you insane? After everything that's happened, you're still planning a damn engagement? My grandfather is an old man, and you're lying to him like this? Aren't you afraid of divine retribution?" She let out a soft laugh, her tone casual, as if she still thought I was just angry. "Leo, you don't have to pretend. I already know you went to that bar to drink your sorrows away over me. You do care about me, don't you? You're just too proud to admit it. I was wrong at the B&B that day. Tim is out of the police station, but he has a record now. Even if he can't go to college or has to repeat a year, I won't get involved anymore. Let's not fight anymore. Okay? If you won't come to me, then I'll come to you. I'll be the one to back down." What? Did she get her head slammed in a door? Or does she have multiple personalities? Who said I was drinking because of her? The more I listened, the more annoyed I got. I started cursing. "Did you learn your shamelessness from Tim? Weren't you the one who said you'd be a dog if you ever came crawling back to me? I regret that. Woof, woof, woof. My Prince Leo, can you forgive this little puppy now? Jesus, she's a psycho." Her voice grew happier as she spoke. "Even though I won the bet, I'll concede. I'll always be your loser. Our engagement party is next Saturday. I'll pick you up tomorrow to try on tuxes. Okay? Amy, what makes you think I would get engaged to someone so rotten? You might not think you're disgusting, but you make me sick." I hung up and blocked her again. I went straight to my grandfather's hospital, not home. I was afraid Amy would be there waiting for me. It turned out the engagement party was partly my grandfather's idea. That's why Amy's family was in such a hurry, moving the ceremony, which both families had originally planned for December, up to next Saturday. I tried again to persuade my grandfather to give up on the idea of the marriage alliance. Grandpa, Amy and I, it's impossible. Let's just call off the engagement. Grandpa frowned, clearly displeased. Didn't you used to beg me to let you marry her? I didn't want to get into the messy details with him, so I just said that Amy had fallen for someone else and I didn't want to be the third wheel. Grandpa sighed and was silent for a moment before he said, Leo, you know my health. I probably don't have many months left to spend with you. I quickly cut him off. Grandpa, don't say that. The doctors said you're doing great. Grandpa had old injuries from his time in the army. After Grandma passed away, he was consumed with worry, and his health deteriorated even further. He had to spend every day in bed, sustained by 4 drips. I knew he couldn't bear the thought of leaving me alone. Even though the treatments were painful, he kept fighting, holding on so he wouldn't have to leave me to join Grandma. You don't have to lie to me, son. I'm not afraid of dying. But I worry about you. At least we know the Amy's family. After I'm gone, if anyone tries to bully you, they'll have your back. You're only 18, you haven't even started college yet. When you enter the real world, you'll have a tough time with no one to help you. Hearing him talk as if he were on his deathbed made my heart ache, a lump forming in my throat. Grandpa, I'm not afraid of hardship, but I don't want to spend my days consumed with anxiety over a girl, to the point where I don't even feel like myself anymore. Please stop talking like that, okay? I don't like to hear it. I was hoping I could live to see you settle down, get married, and have children. I said nothing. Grandpa had always known I disliked the 2 Tim brothers and hated that they were living with the Amy family. But they were Amy's family's saviors, not mine. I could be unhappy about it, but I had no right to interfere. 3 years ago, Tim had saved Amy's grandmother, who had wandered off, at the cost of one of his arms. The old woman had Alzheimer's, and a lapse in her caretaker's attention had allowed her to wander into the middle of the street. Amidst the chaotic traffic, Tim pushed her to safety, but his own arm slammed into a lamppost, resulting in a severe fracture. Amy's grandfather had spent the whole day looking for her, and when he heard she had almost been hit by a car, the shock sent him to the hospital. Fortunately, both grandparents were ultimately fine. Tim's parents had died in a construction accident, leaving him and his brother Evan alone and destitute. Out of gratitude, the Amy family took them in. Evan had little education and few skills, so he could only work at the leisure club owned by the family. Tim, on the other hand, was transferred to my and Amy's school to attend classes with us. He always managed to insert himself whenever Amy and I were eating, doing homework, or studying together. He was there every time we went to the movies. I never understood if he was the family's savior or Amy's personal attendant. Wherever she went, he followed, like a ghost you couldn't shake. I held my ground for a long time, but Grandpa wouldn't budge. He believed my reluctance to get engaged was just a temporary spat with Amy, a fit of pique. He thought I would regret it later. So, I finally told him everything, all the grievances I had been holding back. When he finished listening, he was furious. He gently stroked my head and said with a sense of release, I want someone to take care of you and be with you, but I can't force you to do something that makes you unhappy. Otherwise, when I see your grandma on the other side, she'll be angry and ignore me. You, my boy, when you get to college, you have to take good care of yourself. Don't run your body into the ground. And try to soften up a bit, get along with your classmates. As for the company and family matters, I'll try to get in touch with a few trustworthy people to take over. I will absolutely not let you suffer even the slightest bit more. On the day the engagement was officially called off, Amy's entire family came to my grandfather's hospital room. When he announced the cancellation, no one dared to argue. Amy rushed in, her usually perfect face looking haggard, with dark circles under her eyes. Hearing my grandfather's resolute decision, she immediately fell to her knees. Grandpa Leo, I know I was wrong. I'll never make such a stupid mistake again. Please just make Leo forgive me. I can't live without him." In a fit of rage, my grandfather grabbed his cane and started hitting Amy with it. No one dared to intervene. Never again? How dare you say such nonsense? Do you know what today is? How dare you be late? Does this mean you just skip your own wedding? How long have you let those two brats bully my grandson? My poor Leo, he put up with it time and time again. Forgave you time and time again. He's loved you since he was a child. No matter how awful you were, he never once thought of truly leaving you. But what about you? You stood him up, left him waiting for you in the freezing cold for hours. He got seriously ill, and not only did you not take care of him, but you were out laughing and having fun with someone else. Grandpa struck her a few more times with the cane, and Amy passed out. Fearing the old man would work himself into a health crisis, her family quickly carried the unconscious Amy away. After that day, I received a lot of apology gifts. They were all from Amy's family. I didn't refuse them. I sold everything and deposited the money in my bank account. Before college started, I went to see my grandfather one last time. His old illness had relapsed, and they couldn't save him. I stayed in the morgue and cried for a day and a night. Amy came to sit with me. I didn't acknowledge her, but I didn't chase her away either. The next day, the trustworthy people my grandfather had mentioned all arrived. They were the children of his old army buddies. 5 or 6 older brothers and sisters took turns comforting me. They helped me handle all the funeral arrangements. I buried my grandfather with my grandmother and my parents. Sometimes, I really did feel like I was a jinx, destined to bring death to everyone I loved. But then I thought, if that were true, Amy should have been dead a long time ago. So, from now on, I won't believe any of that superstitious nonsense about cursing my parents. Even if the people who loved me are all gone, I have to love myself. Because I deserve to be loved. And I deserve to be loved by someone better. On the first day of college, Amy didn't show up for her own registration. Instead, she came to my campus. "Leo, can you really not forgive me? Not even once? I've cut all ties with them. From now on, I'll only follow you. You can hit me, yell at me, I won't fight back. I'll take all of your bad moods." I calmly walked around her. If I could forgive everything, then all the pain I've been through would be my own damn fault. "Amy, I'm not that pathetic." Amy's face went pale, and she lunged forward to hug me. But a woman behind me executed a swift shoulder throw, pinning her to the ground. It was one of the sisters who had helped me with the funeral, Vicky. She had retired from the Special Forces last year due to a serious injury and now worked at the police station near the university. She was 5 years older than me, with a lively and straightforward personality. Before he passed, my grandfather had asked her to look after me. So, she had made a special trip today to help me move in. She shot me a look, and only after seeing I was unharmed did she relax. Vicky said, "Who the hell are you, kid? Can't you see he's disgusted by you and doesn't want you to touch him?" Amy, her hands cuffed, screamed as she was dragged away. After that day, I never saw Amy again. Vicky, on the other hand, often came to campus to bring me food, nagging me to finish all my supplements and forbidding me from staying up all night painting. She'd call every day to remind me. Later, I would occasionally hear news about Amy and Tim from Miles. Tim wasn't rejected by the university because of his record, but he was caught cheating on his final exams and was also nabbed stealing takeout from the dorm lobby. He was sent to the police station again. He was expelled, and the Amy family, finding him a complete embarrassment, finally cut him loose. They gave him a sum of money and sent him away for good. Amy spent her days at home drinking. She missed the final deadline for university enrollment. She tried to learn painting, hoping to get into RISD. But artistic talent isn't something everyone has. She failed. She had no choice but to waste 2 years before finally getting into a different school nearby. She would still come looking for me from time to time, but I ignored her. My days were spent in the art studio, and my free time was for dinners and hangouts with my college roommates. My fulfilling university life kept me busy, and I had a meddlesome retired soldier of a sister who would drive over to take me out to eat and go shopping. I didn't dwell on the grief of losing my family for too long. I think, in the days to come, I'll fly free like a butterfly. No one will ever hold me back again.